Hey, how you doing? Uh, what I wanted to talk about in this video here, I was talking about my fifth step and how much of a load that it had lifted off of me. And after that was got off of me, we had had a meeting at the hospital where I was at. It's kind of like a mini AA meeting, I guess, but the parents was allowed to come, and I actually read I brought up several of my wrongs, and it was kind of like a briefing of where I had come from and where I am now. But I will tell you that, we can say, okay, getting sober is one thing. Staying sober is quite another feat. And actually, when I think back on it, the Lord saved my life through the miracle, and there was actually more than one miracle involved. And when I look back on it, getting sober wasn't really the hard part. You could, if you're out drinking, or for me anyway, I could put the beer down, or I could put the liquor down, or put the joint down, and I quit right there. But staying that way, it's a completely different thing. And I know that I was getting ready to leave the hospital. I had done my fifth step, and a major load had been lifted off of me, and I felt really good, and I got to thinking about what I was going to do when I got out of the hospital. Then I got really scared, because in the hospital, if you're in a hospital environment, you're protected. There was no alcohol around. There was nothing around that could come in through the doors. So you could walk around like you're cocky and all that, and look at me, I've quit drinking, but you got the hospital walls that's surrounding you. And I know the day before I got out, we had this meeting, so to speak, and basically what it was all the parents of the people that was in there. They was allowed to come, and they allowed us to speak. And I had got up and was speaking, and I had went through some of my confessions, if we'll just call it confessions for lack of a better word. And I had brought those up in the meeting, and different things that I had learned from those. And it felt really good. My wife was able to she actually showed up, and I was really worried about whether she would even come or not. If I would have been her, I would have probably ran the other direction. But I'm so thankful to the Lord for placing her in my life. And placing her in my life was probably, she has been so important to me through all of this, and I love her very much. And I don't love her because she's been important to me in all this. I love her because she's her, and she's a real person, and she puts it out there. She doesn't hold anything back. And if I ask her, if I'm doing right, or if I'm doing wrong, or if I'm going the wrong direction or whatever, if I ask her, she'll tell me whether I am or whether I'm not. And I depend on her to tell me the truth about everything, because that's just the kind of person that she is. And that's one of the reasons I love her so much, is because she's not afraid to hold. She won't hold anything back. It's just the way she does. It's just the way she does things. And we've been together for 35 years, and we'll be together for the rest of our lives, because I wouldn't take $1 million for her, just because of the person she is, and the person and the importance that she has in my life. And I don't want you to take it the wrong way. When we get sober, we don't get sober for other people. We have to get sober for ourselves. And that's the most important thing. I didn't get sober for her. I got sober for Larry, because Larry needed to become a better husband and a better father. And Larry knowed that. And that was the whole point, the whole purpose of me getting sober. And that, and the fact that the direction I was going wasn't going to get me anywhere except in the ground. And the Lord brought about the miracle that changed me completely. And basically over the last 35 years, he has rebuilt a new Larry. And I'm not going to say it's a good Larry, because I don't know whether it is or whether it isn't. It isn't for me to judge. But I do the best I can. And I want to help others who have been in my position or who are in my position. And I don't want anybody to do it the same way I done it, but if they can take different ways that I done things and different reasons I had for doing those things, and if that helps them, then the whole point of these videos has been served. And I'm going to continue doing these videos until the Lord tells me that I've done enough videos. So these are going to continue coming out, and I'm hoping I can help someone. And if I can help someone, and I don't necessarily need to know about it, but if it helps someone, that just pleases me. But after the 5th step, and I had done this, went into this meeting with all the parents and everything, and I unloaded on them as far as what all was involved during the hospital time that I was there, and what all I had went through. It was really cathartic, and it just tickled me to death to look out there and see my wife sitting there beside of my mother and her mother. And it just, I was nervous whenever I first started talking, but after I started talking, it just dawned on me, it's not all that bad. After I had got done, I sat down and I asked my wife. I said, "Well, how did I do?" Because I don't remember a whole lot of what I said. And she said I'd done just fine, and she was proud of me, and that let me know, that I done all right. But then I got to thinking, after they had left that night, the following day I was supposed to get out of the hospital and go home. And that night everything kept going through my head. Well, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? I'm going to be back out into the world, back to my job, back out with people, back out where the beer stores are, back out where the liquor stores are. How am I going to do this? And I was praying the whole time that I prayed to the Lord, you'd have to help me do this. I can't do this by myself. And I knew that I couldn't do it by myself. I had proved that I couldn't do it by myself. And if people can quit on their own, good. I'm tickled to death for them. But I couldn't. I had to have help. I had to have Jesus Christ in my heart, and He had to be the main player, not the second row back, and not the second row back from my wife. I follow what Jesus tells me to do, not what everybody else tells me to do. And by me staying in touch with Him so closely, it helps me. It just, if I get too far away from Him, I know when I'm too far away from Him, and I get back close to Him because I know that He's leading the way, and I'm letting Him do all the driving. But when it come to that night, I had to learn how things was going to be. And when she came and picked me up, I was so pleased, but at the same time, I was nervous as all get out. I was scared, because I know what Larry is capable of talking Larry into doing. And it just, although it did give me a little bit of confidence that she was there beside me, and I knew that she was willing to walk this road with me. And I know that she can't keep me sober. I have to keep me sober. Me and Jesus. This is a bond between me and Jesus. Jesus will help me stay sober, and He will help to turn me into hopefully a good husband and father, because that's what I wanted really bad. Because my son at that time, he was only I think he was about 5 years old at the time, 5 or 6 years old, and my little baby girl had just been born. She was a year old, and I knew that they did not deserve the kind of man that went into the hospital. They didn't deserve him, and neither did my wife. But in the next episode, I'll explain a few things that I've done as far as my thinking goes prior to getting out of the hospital. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me at 35yearskept@gmail.com. Like and subscribe to the channel if you're interested. But I do appreciate you listening, and hopefully in some way, some small way, if you need help, hopefully in some small way you can get the help. And if anything I say can help you, that's the purpose of the channel. Thank you, and God bless.